Present.
Here.
Here.
Present.
Here. Present.
Here. Thank you. Found it. Before I continue, I do have some housekeeping rules. If you park your car in the rear employee gated parking lot behind us, please move it to the front north parking lot to avoid it being locked in overnight. There is no public egress from the hallway to the south parking lot. The only public entry to the building is through the north entrance near the auditorium. All access to the DDS building is limited to staff only as a security precaution. If you wish to speak at the podium when you step up, please sign in at the sign-in sheet at the table by the rear door. State your name and address for the record. All comments are to be addressed to the chairman and do not speak to the audience or staff. If you have handouts, please give them to the commission. To give to the commission, please give them to the admin staff to distribute to the commissioners. If you need to show information on the overhead projector, please give them to the administration staff to become part of the permanent record. Restrooms and drinking fountains are available down the hall behind this meeting room. Feel free to use these facilities as needed. No food or beverages other than the clear water are allowed in the meeting room. With that, let's go ahead and stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Item number 3, approval of the Planning and Zoning Commission regular minutes of August 27th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a few seconds. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Minutes have been approved. Item number 4, special use permit case number 2408. Who will be? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jesus Carrillo, Senior Planner, presenting special use permit, case number 2408. The request of this special use permit, as per section 604.03M of the Yuma County Zoning Ordinance, is to allow an accessory dwelling unit on a parcel 16,885 square feet in size, zone low density residential, 6,000 square feet minimum. Property is located within the Foothills Plan area at 11818 East Via Loma Vista, Yuma. And the intent is to build a detached accessory dwelling unit approximately 937 square feet in size for a family. This is the vicinity map and the zoning map. The subject property is in the crosshatch with parcel number 34. Parcel is surrounded by zoning by R16 zoning district, and is within the Mesa del Sol number 3 subdivision. This is the aerial view of the subject property, outlined in blue. There's an existing site-built residence with a pool. This is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. Highlighted in yellow is the intent location of the accessory dwelling unit. And this is a picture looking north of the subject property. Staff recommends approval of this request for the following reasons. The proposed development will not materially affect or endanger the public health, safety, or welfare. The proposed development will not substantially change or materially affect the adjoining property or surrounding area. The proposal seems as being in harmony with the existing neighborhood development, and the proposed development will be in harmony with the area in which it is located. Staff suggests attaching the following operation condition. The approval of special use permit is based on the site plan submitted by the applicant. Any change for the site plan will require approval by the planning director pursuant to sections 402.04 of the Yuma County Zoning Ordinance. Mr. Chairman, that concludes staff presentation.
Thank
And
you,
the
Mr. Ca-
applicants are present.
Thank you, Mr. Carrillo. At this time, any questions from the commissioners to staff? Hearing none, I'll go ahead and, would the applicant like to come say a comment or anything to the commission?
Margie Gomez Herrera, and I live at 11818 East Via Loma Vista. I built my house about 25 years ago. That lot's been vacant next to me. Never knew exactly what I wanted to do there, but my daughter was in the military. That was her career. She came home, and she's been renting, and I thought, well, let's just build a house next to me. She'll eventually be taking care of me anyway, so let's just do it. So that's the reason for wanting to build a home.
Thank you. Appreciate your comments. Anyone from the, yes, you did. Anyone from the public for or against this item? May step up. If none, we'll bring it back to the commission for action. Commissioners?
Mr. Chairman, will you take a motion?
Yes, sir.
I would make a motion to recommend approval of special use permit case number 24-08 as presented by staff.
I'll second that.
All right, thank you. We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? I'll just add the comment that very rarely we see projects that have a 300-point score system.
Yeah.
So that's a no-brainer. So thank you. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any against? All right, motion passes. Thank you, Ms. All right, next item, special use permit case number 2409. Who is this, Mr. Carrillo or Mr. Barraza? Who's this one? Carrillo?
Mr. Chairman, can you move forward to the next presentation, to the next case?
All right, we'll go ahead and skip this for now and go over to special use permit case number 2410, which is item number 6 on today's agenda.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. Richard Munguia, Senior Planner. This is a special use permit request to allow a propane dispensing facility in a parcel located in General Commercial District. It's located in the Foothills Planning Area, 10550 South Fortuna Road. And the intent is to allow the storage and dispensing of propane. The subject parcel is currently vacant and was previously the location of a water dispensing building. It's located in Fortuna Heights, Unit Number 1 subdivision, recorded in 1972. Parcel 61 to the north is zoned manufactured home subdivision, 4,500 square foot minimum, and it's undeveloped. Properties to the west and northwest are also zoned MHS 4.5, and they're developed with manufactured homes. The property directly to the east is zoned C2, and it's the location of the Comfort Inn. Parcel 700-20-080 to the south is also zoned C2 and has a combination of residential and commercial units. The properties highlighted in green here are the MHS 4.5. The yellow are the medium density residential. The purple highlighted is a recreational vehicle subdivision, and then finally the blue is general commercial. This is the aerial image. It shows the location of the subject property outlined in red, and that water dispensing facility is no longer on the property. This is the site plan submitted by the applicant. It shows a layout of the future liquor store, the drive-through, and the propane storage and dispensing area, which is highlighted in red. Access to the property will be off of Fortuna Road, while the drive-through exit will be on Amber Drive. And this is a view from the intersection of Amber Drive and Fortuna Road looking roughly northwest. No comments were received from outside agencies or neighbors within the notification radius. This proposal would not affect or endanger the public health, safety, or welfare, would not substantially change or materially affect the adjoining property or surrounding area, and would be in harmony with the area. Staff is recommending approval, subject to the conditions outlined in the staff report and shown on the screen. And that concludes my staff report, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you, Mr. Munguia. Any questions from the commissioners to staff?
I got one just for curiosity more than anything. Is there any fire suppression that's requested or mandated for doing a propane facility like that? I don't know. I mean, I'm just asking the question.
I don't have the answer to that question. I think that portion would come from the building safety when it's time for review.
I was gonna say deja vu. We've seen this one here before, but this is now for the propane part of it. Last time we saw it because of the, I think we've seen this parcel here before, right? In the past year. Okay. All right. All right. Any questions? Additional questions? No. This time I'll do it backwards. I'll open it up to the public. Anyone for or against this project? Hearing none. Applicant, are you here? Would you like to make a comment? No comments from the applicant as well. Bring it back to the commissioners for action. I will accept the motion if anyone.
Chairman,
wants to. Yes,
I
sir.
move that we approve item number six. Case number 24-09. as
10,
submit-
10, 10.
Or 10, yeah, that one.
So let's redo that. So what's your motion again?
We approve it as submitted, as submitted by staff.
For the record, he's referencing 2410.
I'll second that messed up motion.
Is it Friday?
You guys should come more often. We have fun here all the time. So. I have a motion, I have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? All right. Are we going back to item number 5 or we're skipping to number 7? Or 9 or 8? Number 5? Special use permit case number 2409.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jesus Carrillo, Senior Planner, presenting special use permit 2409. The special use permit is a request for section 61203H of the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow a propane dispensing facility on a parcel approximately 3.87 acres in size, zone general commercial. The property is located within the Foothills Plan area at 10637 East South Frontage Road in Yuma. The intent is to allow this storage and dispensing of propane. This is the zoning and vicinity map. The subject property, it's highlighted in green in the crosshatch, parcel number 24. Parcel 31 to the east is zone C2 and is a location of a microtel inn and suites. Parcel number 36 to the southeast is zone C2 and is a location of the shopping center. Parcel number 23 to the south is zone C2 and it's undeveloped desert terrain. Parcel 25 to the west is also zone C2 and it's a location of a golf liquidation sporting goods store. This is the aerial view. The subject property, it's all in blue. And this is the SAPN that was submitted by the applicant. Highlighted in yellow, it's the intent location of the propane dispense. And this is the picture looking south of the subject parcel. Staff recommends approval. If Plans and recommends approval, staff suggests touching the following operational conditions. The approval of special use permit is based on the SAPN submitted by the applicant. Any change for the site plan will require prior approval by the plan director. Number 2, the special use permit shall be valid for a period not to exceed 10 years from the date of approval by the board of supervisors. And that concludes staff presentation. Any
Thank you,
questions?
Mr. Carrillo. Any questions from commissioners to staff? None. I'll open it up to the public. Anyone for or against this item? Hearing none. Applicant? Hearing none. Bring it back to the commissioners for action.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman, I move we recommend approval of special use permit case number 24-09 as presented by staff.
Second.
I have a motion. I have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Motion carries. Thank you. Item number 7, minor amendment case number 2405. That one is asked for Mr. Carrillo.
Mr. Chairman, can you please also open item number
8.
8 as well?
Okay, we'll go ahead and also open item number 8, rezoning case number 2416.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jesus Carrillo, Senior Planner, presenting minor amendment case number 2405. The request is to change the land use designation of a parcel 1.28 acres in size from agricultural rural preservation to agricultural industrial. Property is located in the Yuma Valley Plan Area at the northeast corner of Avenue D and County 15th Street in Somerton, and it's located within the 65 decibel noise zone. And the intent is to rezone the subject parcel to light industrial, 1 acre minimum, to allow a warehouse with an office. This is the land use map. Property is surrounded by agricultural preservation and it's adjacent to City of Somerton jurisdiction. This is the subject property outlined in blue. Staff received comment from MCIS. Staff recommends denial of minor amendment case number 2405 on the basis that the amendment is not consistent with the existing character of the Yuma Valley Planning Area. Number 2, the amendment does not represent an overall improvement to the plan and will only benefit the landowner. Number 3, the amendment does not address an oversight inconsistency or inequity. Moving forward to rezoning case number 2416, the request is to rezone a parcel 1.28 gross acres in size from low density residential 40,000 square foot minimum to light industrial 1 acre minimum. The property is located in the Yuma Valley Plan Area, northeast corner of Avenue D and County 15th Street in Somerton, and is located in 65 decibel noise zone. The intent is to allow a warehouse with an office. This is the zoning and vicinity map. So your property is in this parcel number 14 with the crosshatch, and it's highlighted in red. Parcel 11 is located directly to the north. It's zone R140, and it's a location of a site-built home. Parcel 15 directly to the east is zone R140, and it's a location of a site-built home. Parcels 16 and 17 further to the east are zone R140. It's under the same ownership and are in agricultural and day palms. Parcel 18 located approximately 450 feet to the east. And adjacent to the east is parcel 12, are also zone R140 and are used for storage of agricultural equipment. The parcel to the south is within the City of Somerton jurisdiction, and it's in agriculture. Parcel number 2 to the southwest is zone R40, and it's in agriculture. Parcel 16 to the west is zone SR1, and it's in agriculture. Parcel 17, also to the west, is zone SR1, and it's improved with a site built. And this is the area view of the subject property outlined in blue. Received comments from MCAS. And this is the site plan that was submitted by the applicant. Staff recommends denial of this request based on the request is not being incompatible with the adjoining residential uses to the north and east. Additionally, the property may not be used solely for the purpose of storing heavy machinery in the future if this request is approved. If the plan and zoning commission recommends approval, staff suggests the following performance conditions. Within 60 days of approval by the board of supervisors, the owner or agents shall record an infrastructure disclosure statement, record a range disclosure statement, record an aviation disclosure statement, and an agriculture disclosure statement. And that concludes staff presentation, Mr. Chairman. And the applicants are present.
Thank you, Mr. Carrillo. Just for clarification, MCIS was comments for or against?
They're in favor.
Favor? You said in favor? In favor?
Yes, MCS is
Didn't
present as
oppose.
All
well.
right. That surprised me.
He didn't oppose.
What's up, Antonio? Hi, Antonio. Bring it back to the commissioners. Any questions for staff? Hearing none. At this time, I'll open it up to the public. Anyone for or against this item? Hearing none, hold on. We got one.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Antonio Martinez, Marine Corps Station Yuma. Just to clarify, I'm not in favor or in denial. We just do not object to this request. But it is actually for our regulations, it is compatible with the land zone.
Thank you for the clarification, sir.
Thank you.
Applicant?
My name is Joe Rojas, I'm representing my parents, Jose Rosa Rojas, and our company. Pretty much what we're trying to do just,
Mr. Rojas, can you give us your address?
I'm sorry, 2270 West 24th Place. Pretty much what we're trying to do, trying to kind of improve the land there. It's kind of look kind of vacant, so we're trying to do a warehouse slash office for future reference. That's pretty much what we're trying to do. Rather than that, just want to see what other option there would be if we can't do that. But rather than that, that's pretty much it. Just a warehouse, but nothing new. I mean, it's gonna be pending. We're just trying to get ideas because, like I said, we don't like leaving the property to vacant like it is right now. So that's our first option right now, trying to do something like that.
Mr. Chairman, I got a question. Mr. Rojas, is this, are you thinking somewhere along the agricultural lines or
Well,
some
we-
other type of?
Sorry. We actually have a tenant that we actually they're renting from another property. We would want to go to this new property, which is he's a granite developer. That
Oh,
does.
okay.
That's pretty much what we were trying to do first. But if we can go agriculture, we can do that too. Like I said, we're just trying to kind of improve the property there because I know it's gonna look vacant and stuff like that.
Okay, so let me understand if I can, Mr. Chairman. You're asking for light industrial and you would need a minor amendment for that because you had a tenant you could move to that property that would require that kind of zoning.
Correct.
Okay, and what's your thoughts about staff's disclosure that they feel it's not the right thing for the area?
We can try something out. Like I said, yeah, like whatever's whatever option you guys give. Like I said, like that doesn't go. Maybe we can do what do you call it? Agriculture kind of thing too. We're just trying to maybe just rent it out. So like I said, not leave it like I said, just vacant there. Have something at least there to have on that property there.
So if you can't move this tenant there, you could do something with the lesser zoning category perhaps and rent it to someone else.
Yeah, we could eventually do that. Yes.
Very good.
The biggest issue here is the light industrial versus doing like a
Right.
C2 or commercial or some
Right,
type of
so he could, but he wouldn't need light industrial for
some for
maybe.
ag related
Right.
or something.
I think that's the issue, and maybe staff ought to tell us what all they can do with light industrial, and that would be probably good for all of us to remember that.
That's a long list for like.
There's a gamut of it, yeah.
The whole gambit of it.
Automobile, mechanics.
Yeah, there's a lot of different.
Yeah.
Who's got the floor, Mr. Chairman?
Right now, we're open session. Okay, staff, I mean, is in line with, correct?
Mr. Chairman, anything other than residential would require rezoning of the subject property. The issue here is that the property is in the Somerton general plan and it's designated as commercial. So any change to the land use designation may conflict with the city of Somerton general plan.
So a warehouse on a commercial property like this wouldn't be probably an issue. The issue here is we're going to light industrial from the commercial zoning, so options is there for food of thought, so you could get back with staff, probably, depending on how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Right. Any other questions? All right, bring it back to the commission for action.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I recommend denial of case number 24-05 and 24-16 as presented by staff.
One motion at a
Yeah,
time.
we need a one motion. at a time,
05 is presented by staff.
Second.
please. Okay, so we have a motion on 2405 for denial, and we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any against? All right, item number, do I have a motion on rezoning case number 2416?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, recommend denial of 24-16 as presented by staff.
All right, we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second that.
A second, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? Okay, motion carries. And to the applicant, I highly recommend you go back with staff and see what other options you might have. It'd be great to see it developed. Thank you. Item number 9, rezoning case number 2417. Go ahead.
Richard Munguia, Senior Planner. This request is to rezone a parcel 3.71 gross acres in size from RA10 to SR1 with the intent to develop 3 residential lots. The subject property is 3.71 gross acres in size and it's undeveloped farmland. Access to the property is from the west along a paved road that connects to County 15th Street. In 2021, the owner of the property at the time applied for a minor amendment to change the land use designation from rural density residential to suburban density residential with the intent to split this property into 2 lots. The property was sold before the split occurred, and the current land use designation, which is suburban density residential, does support this request. Subject property is highlighted in red. The yellow properties are zoned RA10. The green properties are zoned SSB2. The brown properties are RA5. And finally, the property in blue is zoned SR3. This image shows the approximate location of the subject property. This shows the layout of the residential development that the applicant is proposing to develop if the rezoning is approved. There would be 3 parcels, roughly 1.14 acres each in size. The development would not be served with potable water or sewage disposal, and each property would require its own individual sewage disposal and water well systems. This is a view looking northeast at the property. There were no comments received from outside agencies. Staff did receive 1 email in opposition to this request from the neighbor directly to the north, and the email was received after the staff report was finalized and sent out, so it should be in front of you at this time. The request to rezone to SR1 is within the range of identified uses, densities, and intensities of the comprehensive plan. The applicant did agree with the conditions of approval today via email. Staff is recommending approval subject to the conditions and schedules for development outlined in the staff report and shown here. That concludes my staff report, and I'm available for questions.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes. What?
does this parcel have legal access? It's got private roads on 2 sides.
Yes, it's going to be the road labeled Avenue 3 1/4 E. Here it's shown on the screen.
Okay, well, it's
Our map shows a private road.
our map shows it has a private road coming in from the east and a private road on the west side of the property, and that the property is not connected to County 15.5 Street at all.
So that it is showing as a private road. I believe the road name is Avenue 3 1/4 E. I'm not sure if it's under the maintenance of the county, but that is the access to the property. Both sides of that road, the east and the west, are accessing that. All the properties here, the SSB2 and the,
Are they improved roads?
yes, this road is paved. The one labeled Avenue 3 1/4 E is paved.
Right, if you see there in the imagery. Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't match what our drawing says, so I was confused. Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, hearing none from the commissioners, I'll go ahead and open it to public. Anyone here for or against the item? Please state your name and address for the records.
More. I'm at 3385 East County 15th Street. My parcel is just east of that. 74738-003. That's mine.
Okay.
My question is, it says private road on there, but there's no private road. That's part of my property. So the question was put into Richard Mangua?
The presenter.
Oh, okay. And it was, they didn't know, so to come in today, because that's not a private road.
Not, or it is?
It is not. It is part of my property.
I'm Nikki's friend, Charles Tauser, Yuma resident. What's that?
Address, please.
3588 South Woodpecker Way.
Okay.
So this particular, we were told that her property runs from here down this way, 282 feet.
We need to be on the mic, unfortunately. So yeah.
From there to the canal, which is, you can see on Google Earth, 282 feet. It comes to the center of the canal. So that private road, if that's the end of her property, the private road would actually be on the other side of the canal. So how big are those parcels gonna be if they're estimating in the canal as well, which is 45 feet across? With both, the map is either drawn incorrectly. As you pointed, there's a private road that it says, but her property runs all the way to the center of the canal.
Can you bring up the aerial shot, please?
The private road is actually on both.
Right, the aerial shot here. So you're saying the paved road is the private road, or there's another road on the other side of the private road?
County 15 and a quarter street, it zoomed in, there's a canal in the center of that, and it's a levee on both sides.
Right.
The property, according to the measurements, 282 feet, runs from the north side of her property to the center of that canal, 282 feet. So that would put that private road on the other side, I guess, according to the drawing, which would make the parcels they're trying to divide up probably smaller if they included that 45 feet.
Okay. Okay, we could take in the questions and we'll address staff. Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
the question will be, I mean, is it just a?
Again, that's something we'll address this. I can't give you an answer here. This is for you to remark, and we'll give it to staff, and we'll see what they say. Okay, thank you.
Hi. My concern about.
Name and address, please.
I'm sorry. I'm Robin Berg. I'm her mom. And it is.
Can I get your address, please? I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, her address or mine?
Your address. You're the
My
one speaking.
address
Yes,
is
please.
163 South 23rd Avenue.
Thank you.
My concern about these being split into 1+ acre parcels is everybody who bought in the area where my daughter did, they bought the 2+ acre parcels for the peace and the quiet and just living out in the country. If this gets passed into 1 acre lots, then that's taking all of that away from what the people actually put their money into in buying these properties. And also with these 3 lots going directly, they're backing up to my daughter's lot. All 3 of those are going to be pulling from her well because they're all going to be on wells. And that's not what they were intending. That's not what she was intending when she went ahead and bought that property. All the surrounding areas, like they said, were 2+ acre and 3 acres. And so if this gets passed, then there are going to be more and more larger residential suburban parcels being split, and more are going to be in the 1 acre lots, because once you approve this, then everybody else, including sellers who sell the land, contractors who want to make money by buying it and building the houses on the small parcels, that's what that area is going to become. And I think it will, I guess, destroy the harmony of the 2+ acres. So, thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Appreciate it. Anyone else from the public?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, board members. Panay Vega with Vega Vega Engineering, 2619 South Avenue 2.5E, representing the property owner. Just a quick clarification, the access to this property is going to be off of the road on the west side. That is what the property is going to be accessing each lot, and one of the requirements is a concrete driveway into that paved road out to each of those parcels, and that's a requirement, and the owner is in agreement to building that. Other than that, I'll be more than glad to answer any questions commissioners might have.
Can you touch on the point in regards to the confusion here with the commissioners and the public in regards to private road or not private road, or in the canal question?
Yeah, the intent for the split is the access for those lots is going to be from the west side. There'll be no access. Yeah, there'll be no access off of that private road.
West side on
The
this
west
side?
side of, yes, correct. And that is what the driveway, the concrete driveway requirement is.
Mr.
I'll go
Vega,
back to the aerial.
go ahead. Mr. Vega, is that cutting into the property, the size of the property there? Can you show us exactly where you're talking about there, please? Where the access will be?
It will be on the alignment on the north that is labeled Avenue 3¼ E, north side.
Okay.
That is where the access is gonna be. And that's where those concrete driveways are gonna be built.
But is that a private road or a county road?
That is, it's a legal access. My understanding is that it's not a county-maintained road, but it's a legal access.
The right of way?
Correct.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes, go ahead.
Is that, so this will all be under wells, there's no irrigation water available to this property?
There's a requirement that the owner needs to provide irrigation water to all the property. So he needs, the owner will be working with irrigation district to provide that irrigation to each of the lots.
In Unit B or Yuma Mesa?
That's Yuma Mesa. Yuma Mesa.
Yuma Mesa, okay.
So what, Mr. Vega, so what you're saying is off of the parcels themselves, they will have a concrete driveway to attach to the roadway? Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
I have a question for staff. Staff, are there other residential properties in the area that are 2 acres or less? Similar?
2 acres or less? No.
No, so all of them are at least 5 around there?
There are 2 acres roughly in size and above.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, keep in mind that when the land use designation was changed last year to its current land use designation of suburban density residential, staff recommended denial at that time. However, the case was approved by the Board of Supervisors. And the reason staff recommended denial was that it open the door for this density to be established in this area where it's predominantly it's characterized predominantly by parcels of 2 acres or more in size.
Any other questions for staff?
Confused now, Mr. Chairman. How did it come back to us again for the same rezoning?
It's last year.
That was the land use plan.
Land use plan.
Land use plan.
The land use plan that was approved by the Board of Supervisors.
The first case came before the Planning and Zoning Commission and the board was minor amendment case 2107. And then this is now the rezoning case
And on
to
the
allow
point-
the 1 acre minimum parcel sizes.
And on the point system, we have what, a 275? Where did they use points on? Okay, all right, thank you. Mr. Vega. Public is still open. I'll bring it back to the commission. No one else comments? We'll bring it back to the commission.
Mr. Chairman, is a question for staff. Are you recommending approval?
Yes.
That I
Yes.
missed that part, so you are.
Yeah, that's what I was bringing up, that the point system actually comes into 275.
Right, it's, yeah, I saw that too, very high.
Mr. Chairman, just based on that, you know, I understand what the residents that live there, I understand what they're saying, but now that we've already committed to doing this in that area, you're right. You're exactly right. But that's how I feel about it. But I'm not going to make the motion, but I want you to know how I feel about it.
Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, the case planner also stated that the owner at that time, back in 2001, when the minor amendment came forward, also indicated that their intent was to split the property into 2 parcels. However, the property is under a different ownership.
My recommendation would be 2 parcels. I would
But
say
Mr.
2
Chairman-
parcels.
Two parcels. At this point, I'll go ahead and take a motion from someone.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I
Okay,
think the
Mr.
message
Nye.
that we received from staff's pretty clear. They knew that this was going to happen if this land thing went through, and it did.
And
Our
it did.
elected Board of Supervisors passed it over the objection of staff. So we know the direction that the elected leadership is taking the county, and there's all the pressure for smaller, less expensive homes that's being applied to every elected official everywhere. So this is an unfortunate situation where growth causes uncomfort to people. And I wish it didn't have to be, but I understand that it does have to be, and I recommend that we approve.
Motion in there somewhere.
I recommend that we
second it. I'll
approve
second
rezoning
it.
case 24.
I just needed you to say that. I'll second it.
And I understand also, so we have a motion, we have a second, any further
Well,
discussion?
Oh, I'm
Hold
sorry.
on. Motion, we have a second, any further discussion?
Yeah, one more thing. This, I think we've seconded, we've passed it, we've got it through. Now let it go to the Board of Supervisors and let them put
If the
their
vote goes
stamp
that
on
route.
it. Yeah,
If
I
the vote
mean,
goes that way.
we're just recommending it based on what you just told us. So that's my thought.
All right, we have a motion, we have a second. The only thing I'll add, and you already mentioned it, Mr. Black, is I understand where the residents are coming, and we can't make a decision based on what might happen in the future. In regards to that, we're going by staff's recommendation and point system. So we have a motion with second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any against?
Nay.
Nay. All right, how many nays were there? Yeah, let's do a roll call, please. I kind of heard someone say double, so.
Aye.
Yes.
Nay.
Aye.
Can I be last? Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Nay.
What was your tally there?
It passes.
Motion passes? Okay, motion passes.
Well, that's better yet. Take it to the supervisors.
Thank you, everybody, that came and provided their input. Item number 10, rezoning case number 24-18. Mr. Barraza.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presenting rezoning case 24-18. This is a request to rezone 13.5 gross acres of a parcel from rural area, 10-acre minimum, RA10 to light industrial, 2-acre minimum, located in the Yuma Mesa planning area at 15783 South Avenue B in Somerton, Arizona, located within the 70-74 decibel noise zone. The intent is to split the property into 4 parcels for industrial development. This is the zoning and vicinity map showing the subject parcel highlighted in red and crosshatch. Parcel, it's access along Avenue A on the west. Parcels to the east, 5 and 30 are zone RA10 in agricultural production. Parcel 16 to the south is the location of our rural metro fire station. Parcels to the east are zone RA10 and they're in agriculture. Parcel number 6, it's zone RA10 and it's improved with a site build, as well as parcel 14 on the north. The entire property is under the 70 decibel noise zone. This is an aerial view showing the subject parcel outlined in red. This is from 2022. Pretty much the development still remains the same. This is the site plan submitted by the applicant. The proposal is to divide the parcel into 4. This is a view looking southeast of the property from the northwest corner. On the right is Avenue A. This is looking northeast at improvements on the property towards the middle. And now looking northeast of the property from the southwest corner. Staff received comments from MCIS, Yuma County Airport Authority, and no comments or questions have been received by staff from citizens or property owners within the notification area. Staff recommends approval of rezoning case number 24-18, subject to the following performance condition. Within 180 days of approval by the board, the owner shall submit the following documents to the Department of Development Services. A recorded aviation disclosure statement, a recorded agricultural disclosure statement, a recorded instrument dedicated 17 feet of right-of-way along the west side of the subject parcel, fronting Avenue A. Mr. Chairman, in your staff report, we recommended the following schedule for development, but further conversations with the applicants and a project extended between them and the engineering department, it was determined that the requirement of the traffic impact analysis is going to be handled on a case-by-case, depending on the use on any of the future parcels. That's why we recommended removal the schedule for development. Mr. Chairman, the applicants are here, and that concludes staff's presentation. It's ready to answer any questions.
Questions for
Just,
staff?
just a comment, basically because I'm a neighbor of theirs, and a traffic impact study is definitely needed on Avenue A. I mean, this is one of the most dangerous roads and most travel roads. Now you're putting trucks, you're putting other vehicles on that impedes or is an issue.
But, Mr. Chairman, I don't think they said a traffic impact study would not be needed. It just depends on what the uses are. If it's a one vehicle thing, it would be different than if it's something that's going to require traffic. So it's a case by case when they decide what they're going to use it for.
Well, okay, I'll let it slide right now.
They're not saying it's not going to be done. They're just saying, when it comes to the project, they're going to request it.
But I will be watching this.
Personal gain here.
I would recommend doing one at his property when he leaves to get home at nighttime.
Now that he's retired, that's even worse.
Pulling a trailer with his pony or a pony with a
I know
carousel.
an engineer that's doing this, so I will be on his door.
Any other questions from the commission to staff? All right, here none. I'll open this up to the public. Anyone here from the public for or against this project? Hearing none. Applicant, do you have any questions or would you like to relieve his concerns in regards to his traffic study?
Here we go.
Here we go.
Watching you. Evening, Chairman, Co-Chairman, Vice Chairman, and all the other wonderful ladies and gentlemen. Anybody that knows me, what I like to do is develop industrial property.
We all know you, but you still got to give us your name and address.
Ronald A. Martin, 527-92-2173, this is Social Security, 13382 South Avenue 4E, Yuma, Arizona. I like to develop industrial property, and you're right, Avenue A has a lot of traffic on it, there's no doubt. But I like to take something. If you take the top north half, it looks like crap, okay? And I like to take things in areas and clean them up, make them look better. Hopefully the neighbors catch on and do that. My business is mostly small construction companies, small agricultural companies, no nightclubs, no bars, no stores, no gas stations, no fuel, no that. It's going to be, and every business along there seems to have 3 or 4 cars a day in and out of them, and that's all it's going to be. We've got a couple agricultural companies that are interested, and they're just drop off. They store stuff, they move. It's just like the building that's there in the middle. That's what they do. It's agriculture. There's really not any traffic that's going to be created. I understand MCIS. I built Ramster Industrial Park. I deal with airport rules and regulations all the time. We build above and beyond those. It's no problem, and it will be a wonderful addition. It's a very difficult piece of property to do something really worthwhile with, other than I think what we want to do. And that's, create maybe 3 or 4 buildings out there, clean it up, make them look good, and enhance the county and increase the revenue. It just, if it was anything, number one with me, if anything's dangerous, I ain't doing it. Or I'm going to change it, I'm going to fix it, I'm going to make sure, because I don't want anybody's life, health, welfare, whatever, on my back for the rest of my life. So, I mean, if there was something that I needed to do, we're going to put in a big water tank for fire protection, even though Rural Metro is just right down the street, but it's just a little stop in the road, basically, for Rural Metro. But So we're gonna have fire protection, you know, for the buildings and stuff like that. So I just think it'd be a very good addition to the area. And I want to build it affordable because a lot of the people that rent in these areas, they can't afford a lot of rent. And this isn't a deal to make a whole ton of money, but if I get 3 or 4 of them going or whatever, maybe it'll make some money and it'll just enhance the area and help everybody else pick up and clean up the whole area. So I'm gonna clean it up. Thank you very much.
I will add this comment that many of you know I'm a realtor by profession, and I sold this parcel. This was one of my first transactions 16 years ago, and it's been looking the same way since I sold it 16 years ago.
That's true.
And have you driven by it lately?
Yeah, I have. So I've been seeing, and
There's more crap. There was more stuff. I didn't find any dead bodies. I mean, there was more crap along that one whole stretch. It's like,
it goes to show how long it takes for someone to come in and decide to do something. So that's
yeah,
great. Great idea, great project.
Be a nice addition to the street, I think.
Mr. Chairman, just a comment to Mr. Martin. You know, I do know his projects, and I didn't know you was involved with this at all. I really didn't.
All right, you can go back to your traffic study.
You
So
can keep an eye on it. I'm good with that.
Well, it's 1 block from where I live, so yes, I will. And, you know, at one point, I think when this firm first came up for doing some light industrial stuff along that, this is about the only thing you can do.
Right, because of the airport.
Without a doubt.
The
So
whole
it's a
top
great
half
idea.
is basically light industrial.
Yeah.
All storage, businesses, it's already there. Then you have Zeller's old house, you know, this place right there in the middle, and, you know, and it'll just finish off the southern half of.
Yeah, no, it's great.
It'll,
I have a comment for Mr. Martin as well. Mr. Martin, I do appreciate what you do for our town. But just so you know, in this area, as you know, it's gone to crap. It really has. And that would be the only concern that I would have is that you do build it up, make it look good, and then somebody comes in and starts storing all their junk there. You know what I mean? And I know you'll work against that.
Yeah, we will definitely keep an eye on that. Any properties that I own, I like keeping them up. They look good, they're clean, they're neat. You know, I don't put up with that crap, and we're not going to start.
Without him noticing, he just told Mr. Black that his property is crap, but you know.
Well, that's
I'm gonna deliver some of that metal stuff over there to his place.
Any additional questions to the applicant or to staff? No? All right, thank you, Mr. Martin.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. We already did the public call, right? So bringing it back to the commission for action?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
I move we recommend approval of 24-18 as presented by staff.
We have a motion, do we
I'll
have a second?
that.
We have a second, a motion, a
I didn't know I
second.
was here.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any against? All right, motion carries. Thank you. Item number 11, text amendment case number 24-02. Mr. Carrillo. Pull it from the USB.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Jesus Carrillo. This is the same text amendment that was brought up to you last commission meeting. We would like a presentation. Nothing has been changed.
We're good. Just give us a recap. Just quick recap.
Yes, so what we're proposing is to combine the city of Yuma parking requirements with our current parking requirements, to amend it, adopt what the city of Yuma has currently adopted, and combine them. That was taken to the board of supervisors. It's a discussion item. They send it back to the commission to initiate text amendment. The commission initiated text amendment last month, and now we're here with the text amendment.
So this is the last time was initiation. Now we're here for the text to move it forward to the next.
Moving
level.
forward, yes, the staff recommends approving this text amendment and send it back to the board.
Any questions from?
No, again, I just want to congratulate staff. I think this is one of the success things that our staff does. I mean, and in order to simplify and make it less complicated and easier for engineers and developers to work with their clients, they're trying to make Yuma County's regulations here where they can match up with the city of Yuma's regulations. And you know, they aren't doing the turf battle and the turf war that they've that we've seen over the years. So I congratulate staff. I appreciate what you did here. Thank you.
And the city municipalities is also follow in line with that, so it's been taking years, but at least everybody's gonna be on the same page little by little, so thank you. Does this go to public or just us? This part, everything goes to public. At this time, I'll open it up to the public. Anyone that has any questions or concerns about text amendment case number 2402 or any comments are welcome to come up. Hearing none, bring it back to the commission for action.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir.
I move that we recommend approval of text amendment case 24-02 as presented by staff.
Second.
Yeah.
Motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any against? Motion carries. Thank you.
Clarification on the second, was it Ron Benoit or Gary?
Doesn't matter, Maggie.
Either one of us.
Either one of
Both of them
us.
spoke up, so we're alphabetical.
There you go.
Item number 12, discussion. Minor amendment 2030. Okay. Who has that one? Behind you, Mr. Barraza. Oh, there you go. You should look up instead of down.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presented this discussion item. This is a request to discuss the possibility of initiate a minor amendment to the 2030 comprehensive plan to keep, these are three options, to keep Highway 95 as a visual corridor in its original extent, east of Avenue 3E, or incorporate Highway 95 in its entirety into the visual corridors map, or remove US Highway 95 from the visual corridors map. We're gonna go into some chronology. The visual corridor of US Highway 95 east of Avenue 3 was established in the 2010 comprehensive plan. A discrepancy was found in the 2030 comprehensive plan where US Highway 95 was not listed as a visual corridor but omitted from the map. It was listed as a visual corridor but omitted from the map's legend. Minor amendment case number 24-01 was presented in the March 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting to correct the issue. At that time, the Planning Commission directed staff to update the map ensuring US Highway 95 is fully designated as a visual corridor in its entirety. These are the requirements if, for properties within 500 distance of each side of the center line of Highway 95, which is under section 621.00 Visual Corridors Overlay District. So the ones that outstand the most is the no new industrial uses are allowed and no billboard signs are allowed. And these are the requirements from the zoning ordinance for that. And this is the list of roads as visual corridors existing. Another more chronology on that. At the June 25th, 2024 Planning Commission meeting, staff presented the visual corridor overlay district standards to the commission, and then additional outreach was requested from that commission. Staff mailed comments requests to 491 property owners within 500 feet of US Highway 95 and contact local sign companies. The feedback we received is 8 objections from residents, 3 objections from sign companies, and 1 stakeholder, 4 neutral responses, and 21 phone inquiries. Just wanted to know more about this. Out of those, the 21, 1 in support, only provides 17 clarifications, and 3 of those phone calls were in opposition. Local sign industry raised concerns about the ban on off-site billboard signs in the visual corridor overlay district, citing business impacts. US Highway 95 is not a scenic corridor per Arizona Department of Transportation, unlike Maricopa and Pima counties, which restrict billboard signs in scenic corridors. Staff at this time is seeking guidance from the Planning Commission on how to proceed. The Planning Commission has the following options. 1, initiate an amendment to the 2030 comprehensive plan to depict US Highway 95 as a visual corridor in its original extent east of Avenue 3E, or initiate an amendment to the 2030 comprehensive plan to fix the legend on map 6, visual corridors to depict US Highway 95 in its entirety as a visual corridor, or initiate an amendment to the 2030 comprehensive plan to remove US Highway 95 from the roads that are designated as a visual corridors on page 165 of the comprehensive plan and remove US Highway 95 from map 6, visual corridors. Mr. Chairman, this is a series of map. This is the map from the 2010 plan. In yellow is the stretch of Highway 95. This is the 2030 map showing Highway 95 in its entirety, but no legend, not on the legend. The red rectangle denotes where the omission was made. And this is, in case it gets adopted in its entirety, this is how the map's gonna look. Mr. Chairman, that concludes staff's presentation, and I'll go back to the guidance that we need.
If I was here that day, you guys pushed this forward. I don't remember this item.
Well, no, I don't think you was
You
here,
weren't.
Mr. Chairman, when this originally came, I think I was acting as chairman, and I think it was Mr. Black that suggested a part of 95 is going to be in the visual corridor, the whole 95 should be, and then by the time it came back, we had researched and found out that there was a lot of detail there, and we decided that we might not want to proceed. And so staff has had to jump through hoops on this issue because
See what happens when you're not here?
because we weren't fully prepared when we said, well, let's take all of 95. We didn't discuss it far enough before we sent it back. So I think where we're headed is you got choice number 1, choice number 2, and choice number 2A.
Oh.
Yes, that's a setup. So if we go number 2, which number 2
Hey,
is
somebody
it?
sabotaged my PowerPoint. I'll fix it. No,
Oh,
just
she's gonna
kidding.
change this.
Yeah,
Don't want to name people.
I believe from all of the community input I've had, I think that we probably are going to head towards option 2A there, what I would call 3.
I would concur with that.
Option number 3, but that's the way it came down. So I apologize to staff because we did send them down a
Rabbit hole.
rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And that was our fault.
Mr. Chairman, just on one side, I was thinking when we brought this up, there are some benefits to actually making this a visual corridor. Number one, Highway 95 goes way up there, clearing Nevada and wherever it goes. But to me, it made sense for this to be a visual corridor because where it ends is in Mexico. That's the whole 95. That's the way it was, or at one time it was. Now I'm seeing this. Is there any other benefits of making this a visual corridor?
Funding, grants.
That's what I was originally thought, but maybe it doesn't.
Mr. Chairman, like the case planner stated, originally back in when the original comprehensive plan was adopted in 2001, the only segment of Highway 95 that was designated as visual corridor was the segment that starts around Avenue 3E and extends up to the La Paz border, La Paz County border. So if staff were to make a recommendation, it would be to go back to the original map as far as the depiction of Highway 95 as a visual corridor.
I think the question is, what's the benefit of it being designated a visual corridor?
Well, Mr. Chairman,
I can read from.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, the purpose of the visual corridor is the following: is to ensure that lands adjacent or contiguous to visual corridors are developed in a manner that preserves, enhances, and is in harmony with the natural scenic beauty and rural character viewed by travelers on the corridors. Just scenic valley panoramic.
But if I could just respond to that, Highway 95 is, the billboards, for instance, are controlled. It's a state highway. It's controlled by Arizona Department of Transportation, and they already have rigid recommendations and rigid requirements for off-site billboard signs. And of course, this area, as we go, you would have a lot of development in Yuma County would already be out of compliance.
Right, that's what. Yeah.
And so I understand it'd be easy just to go back where we were, but we wouldn't have fixed anything. And I believe we should try to fix it and try to get item number 2A or 3. But of course, we need to hear from the public and see what they're.
Of course.
Mr. Chairman, the original idea was to bring back Highway 95 just to the legend. It was submitted on the map. Yeah, that was the original intent. Yeah.
That's what opened
Just to
up
bring
Pandora's
back
box.
Highway 95 on the legend.
And one of the things, excuse me, Mr. Chairman,
Yeah.
one of the things I
yeah,
understand
yeah,
is,
you can
is this is only in the county's authority. If
Oh,
you
yeah,
go
it's on-
through
yeah,
the
yeah,
Yuma
it's on the-
Authority or Somerton or, even the Kokopah Authority, you know, it's not.
Not that our desert views aren't beautiful, but you know, there's more impact I think that we'll be doing here. Open it to the public. Anyone from the public that would like to speak on this item is welcome to step up. Please state your name and address for the record.
Good evening, Chairman and Commissioners. My name is Harvey Campbell. I live at 4155 East County, 13 and a half straight. And I'm here in opposition of the initial plan to, I guess it's option 2, to increase it, the entire Highway 95. I represent a group of businessmen that voice concern for the community and small businesses. We have a member who's present tonight, and that's Dell Outdoor, who's been in business for over 40 years in Yuma. And this will affect their business tremendously. And I think what Danny Bryant just mentioned about us making rules more simple for individuals to understand and have our engineers comply with one set of rules. So if you're going to do it, let's just keep it in line with ADOT's rules. When my member has to come and pull a building permit, I mean, not a building permit, but a billboard permit, they have to have an ADOT permit or it can't proceed. So they're in compliance with ADOT already. I like Vice Chairman Danny Bryant's suggestion to go to option 3, if it's still up there on the board, I guess it is. I don't quite understand what the real benefits are here by implementing this. And let's just cure the problem now and not hinder the small businesses in our Yuma community. We have enough government regulations as it is. So I would encourage you to choose option 3. Thank you.
For curiosity, staff, when it's a designated corridor, is there how many from the road itself? Is it?
Mr. Chairman, it will be 500 feet from the center line each side.
I remember seeing that in there. Okay. Anyone else from the public?
Brandy Wright, Dell Outdoor Advertising, 1702 South Arizona Avenue. I'm here representing Dell Outdoor Advertising. I too ask that we go with option 3. It's very detrimental to the outdoor advertising company as the amendment was presented to us. It not only staggers our business, but it also, it also holds a negative impact. All the signs that we currently have become non-conforming, meaning we can't upgrade. If one falls down, it goes away, we can't replace it. So it really staggers the growth for outdoor advertising as the amendment is written and was sent out to us. So I do ask that we go with option 3. I feel like outdoor advertising provides good information to businesses. We've partnered with the county several times to get information out, especially during COVID, flu seasons. I mean, there's plenty of times we've used them. We also use support local businesses for event information and getting that out to the public. We do a lot of in-kind sponsorship. We provide information for the community, and to not allow billboards anymore is really hurtful to us. We're a family-owned business. We've been around since the 50s. I mean, our footprint's here, and we're just trying to grow and make it like anybody else. So I would appreciate consideration in this. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I could ask Brandy a question.
Sure.
Brandy, if we were to restrict billboards on the Highway 95 corridor and then perhaps on the 32nd Street corridor, how many other corridors would be left?
Not many, not many. And, you know, we do regulations to comply with city, county, ADOT, and, you know, every once in a while,
I was a bit facetious, but pointing
Yeah.
out we only have limited.
We're limited
It's-
corridors.
yeah.
Just informational brochure, billboards, and so.
Correct.
Thank you for sharing with us.
Thank you.
Brandy.
Yeah, yeah. So, okay. Okay.
I'm laughing because my vice chair's over here. I'm like, give me your pen.
Time.
Give
He
me your
takes
pen.
my pen and then he sits there and does exactly the same thing I was doing.
Go ahead, I'm sorry. Name and
Hey,
address,
Mr.
please.
Chairman, Commissioners, my name is Blake DeWitt. I'm the president of Del Outdoor. And just to echo a few comments that Brandy made, I've been selling advertising in Yuma County for over 50 years. And billboards are probably the most cost-effective and great advertising there is. So I'd recommend that you remove the visual corridor completely from Highway 95. I just don't think it makes a whole lot of sense. So thanks for that consideration.
Thank you.
So, staff, would this allow then the farm fields out by the college of 95 as you go east?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Would would allow billboards to be placed on that farmland?
Mr.
500 feet from the center
Mr.
line.
Chairman, we're talking about east of 3E?
Yes.
Yeah, if it gets removed, yeah, we'll allow them, but right now, no, it's.
So it would look like when you go on I-8
Yeah.
by
Mhm.
Winter Haven, like on the way to Alcodones, you see all these signs for
Yeah.
the dentist. That looks
there-
horrible.
But there's
that's
spacing,
different.
there's spacing requirements, yeah.
There's spacing requirements.
Well, yes, and just to clarify, ADOT regulations are pretty strict and much more strict than the tribes regulations on billboards.
Wow, that's hideous.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you wanted to look into those, you might want to look into see what ADOT requires, but you've got to be within 1,000 feet of a business, and then they have to be so far apart. I mean, you're not going to have that kind of billboard
On a state route that's controlled by
array
the-
on
not
a
the
state
tribe.
route.
But you would have some.
You could have some if there was a business within 1,000 feet.
Yeah, I like the fields.
All right, any more questions from the public? All right, bringing it back to the commission for action. Yes?
Just, I'd like to throw my 2 cents in. If you look at from San Luis out to 3E on 95, you got San Luis, Somerton, City of Yuma, which takes out anything that we would want to do. And basically, the rest of it is fields. It's agriculture.
Mhm.
And I personally think that anybody that owns land should have the opportunity to do whatever they want with it and put up a billboard.
I agree.
Put in there, yeah, as long as it follow. All right.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Just from, I remember when we were writing the sign ordinance in the 70s, and I was on the Planning and Zoning Commission for the city. Visual corridor to me, I can look under those signs and see the beautiful visual corridor.
You'll see it.
I mean, it's just, you know, it can get ridiculous, but I also know how we fought to make sure that there were logical reasons, as you say, the distance apart, how tall they can be, whether they can be lighted, whether they can't be, all that sort of stuff. I kind of like it, number 3 as well.
Mr. Chairman,
At this point, I'm going to ask for a motion.
that's what I would like.
Yeah.
to
Chairman, I move what Danny moves.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we ask staff to initiate an amendment to 2030 comprehensive plan to remove US Highway 95 from the roads that are designated as visual corridors.
Second that.
Motion, I have a second. Any further discussion?
A little bit. Only because I did.
Because you started this, mess.
It's not in front of your house.
No, and it was good information, and that's what was really upheld here today. So now, instead of furthering the visual corridor, we're gonna remove it so we can have signs. Now I get the idea, and we definitely don't need no more county regulation in that. Come on. Anyway, that's
All
my
right,
comment.
any further discussion?
I had to eat the dirt there.
So, Mr. Chairman, just to clarify, for all intents and purposes, we are requesting number 3.
Yes.
I believe you second number 3.
No, I know, but I just want to make sure that everybody understands.
With an apology to staff for putting them through this road.
I agree.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any against?
Nay.
Okay, this one gets a gavel. Motion passes. All right. Item 13, discussion concerning a possible text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance to consider changes to section 621-02 permitted uses visual corridor. So is this related to number 12? Or?
Mr. Chairman, in light of the action that was taken on the previous item, staff recommends pulling this item from the agenda.
All right, so
Taking no action on this.
Item number 13 will be removed from the agenda. No action will be taken.
We need to make a motion on that?
No.
Okay, good.
Item number 14, discussion concerning a possible text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance to consider changes to section 1106-01 cargo containers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presenting this discussion item. The intent is to consider possibly allowing cargo containers as accessory uses in residential zoning districts without the approval of a special use permit. Also allowing more than one cargo container in residential zoning districts, and allowing cargo containers to be stacked, and allowing cargo containers for human occupancy. A Yuma County resident raised concerns about outdated cargo container regulations at the June 25, 2024 Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. This is a summary of the comments provided by the resident. Cargo container use has evolved and regulations should reflect this evolving. Cargo containers should be permitted in more zoning districts and allowed to be stacked in certain cases. Containers should be considered for human occupancy, and the special use permit requirement should be removed. This is section 1106.01 for cargo containers. Staff did some research with different municipalities and counties, and do you want me to read? I will pass all of that.
Go back one, sorry.
Let's see.
Yuma County. Okay.
Will you like me to read this, or Mr. Chairman?
I'm fine.
Okay. At this point, staff is seeking direction from the Planning Commission on how to proceed. The Planning Commission has the following options. Now it's bullets, not numbers. Initiate a text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow cargo containers as accessory uses in low-density residential R1, medium-density residential R-2, high-density residential R-3, MHP, MHS, RVS, and planned development zoning district without the need of a special use permit. Second option, initiate a text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow more than one cargo container in the SR zoning district, SSB, and suburban homestead and local commercial zoning districts. Number 3, initiate a text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow the stacking of cargo containers. Also, another option is initiate a text amendment to the Yuma County zoning ordinance to allow cargo containers for human occupancy. And the last bullet is leave the Yuma County zoning ordinance as currently worded. That will be the end of the presentation, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, are we gonna go by bullets as far as what we recommend?
Mr. Chairman, there are 5 bullets, so you could recommend
All 5 or take away one?
all 5 of them, or you could recommend
Well, I mean, in all sincerity, we could add 7 or 8 more bullets if we wanted to.
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, I mean, I love staff, but don't let them tell you that we can't decide.
That
we
is
can't
correct.
Request to amend the ordinances any way we choose.
Yeah.
I just think this is something that needs a lot of more thought than a few bullets.
Right, yeah.
I mean, I think there's probably a need for us to consider cargo containers for a lot more uses. You know, you can Google, there's a lot of places in the country that cargo containers are being used as tiny homes and being converted into affordable housing. And for some reason, whoever did our zoning ordinance hated cargo containers. I mean,
I think it's not that they hated it, but I think the issue is it was before its time, and now in
Right.
today's age is different, because that's why I asked you to go back on the slide, because my understanding in this Maricopa County, when you go to Gila Bend over to Maricopa on the 247, what is that called? Cow Road? Dead Cow Road. When you get to the Maricopa area, there's a brand new development that was all done with
It's all-
stacked containers.
right, exactly.
And I don't know if that was Maricopa County or Tribe Land, because they allow it and used it on the list. It didn't show it, because I was actually going to recommend check what those areas
No.
are, what kind of policy they
I
have.
think they said there that Maricopa County don't address cargo containers at all. They don't
But
mention
they
them.
built them.
Mr.
Yeah,
Chairman,
so it's
that,
legal.
that
Mr.
might be the
Chairman.
city of Maricopa, if you're talking about that Cow Road.
Okay, so that might be
Right.
the city.
That is
So
the
that would
city.
be a good point of reference, because they just built, and it was like 4 stories tall containers stacked up, and I've been watching it, because that's where affordable housing is just another option.
And I don't know who the folks in our community would be who would be the most affected, those stakeholders, but I think this is something that should take some thought.
All right, so I think I see some light in this. You know, it's like any building. I'm a licensed contractor, so if I was gonna do this, as long as I can get a permit, is structurally sound, what is the difference in material than wood? You know, to me, that's the way I look at it. If you're structurally,
No, and I agree there, because I'm getting to go to battle with the city of San Luis with our internal staff, because I just found out contractors can't use a container for their office space while they're developing a subdivision or
Yeah,
something.
that's ridiculous.
They actually require them to go through the manufacturer installation process for a cargo container.
buy one, yeah.
Yeah, so to me, it's crazy. Yet when it has wheels and the truck pulls them and drops it off, it's fine, but it's
You know, Mr. Chairman, there are places in Phoenix right now that are actually built cargo city, they're called.
yeah.
You know, Las Vegas has a huge cargo city. I mean, it's.
So the
it's-
question
makes
for us
sense.
is, are we asking, do we need to go ask for more research?
Well, I think we need staff perhaps to get us some research for these developments that are successful, what allowed that to happen.
What mistakes
And
were
then-
made that maybe we don't want to?
And then also
Right.
try to reach out to the stakeholders in our community, whoever they might be, so that when we do this, we don't go like we did on the Highway 95
Exactly.
digital
We
corridor and say,
learned.
let's do it all.
We learned.
So let's see if we can walk down the road a ways and put together a comprehensive strategy that might allow this to provide some affordable housing and might allow
Exactly what-
and might allow landowners to do what they want to with their land.
So let me ask a question. By doing like option number 4, is that what is giving staff the direction to go get this information for us to come back, or is this something?
I don't think staff needs us to start a text amendment
Okay,
at
that's what I'm
this
asking, okay.
point. They need us to say, we would like to see a way that we can be more cargo friendly and see if it would
Bring
help
it back
our
to us.
And I think you also add the word of affordability in housing.
affordability in
Those are
housing.
key words right now.
Mr. Chairman, I think too that I'd like to see something in there about businesses that are involved.
And that's,
in
yeah, I was thinking
cargo.
the same thing, but that's.
There's two of them now, I think, and maybe more, but that's their business. They're bringing in cargo containers.
And there's certainly stakeholders that need to be
So,
involved.
I mean, they're stacking them up, and it makes sense if they're in a business of handling those and trying to make a living off of selling
So-
them, I think that they ought to be able to stack them.
So if we could say to staff, we want to be more cargo container friendly, would you find us all the
Come back with
information
more.
you can and get the stakeholders involved? And let's see if we can have a 90-day report.
Now, Danny,
I'm sorry,
can you go back one, please?
Let me just pause you here for a second, because
Mr. Chairman,
I want to make sure that
there
you're
are
asking.
certain zoning districts that allow the
Right,
stacking of
but-
shipping containers.
For commercial use, but not for.
Well, in
occupancy.
industrial zoning districts allow stacking. But it's not a shipping container that's converted into an office. It's
Residential, right.
just
The issue is
a
the
stored
residential.
cargo container that can be,
Right,
or
stacked.
stored cargo containers that can be stacked.
Right.
To the one where you just renumbered them instead of bulleted them.
Oh, okay.
And what I was gonna say was, Mr. Bryant, wouldn't
Bullets?
you agree that basically everything is already set there for us to make a decision with the exception of number 5? I mean, everything else looks to me like it covers everything. Because you have the C1s in there, you have the residentials. I think staff has already done their homework.
But we might not want to be initiating a text amendment for manufactured home parks or something. I mean, we need more information to see how other communities are doing it and what type of uses or zoning. I don't know, am I correct there, or?
Well, I mean.
I'll defer to my vice on that one.
I'm just a little reluctant to jump too
Right,
quickly. I
right.
mean, we've seen this total for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. I would like to make sure that we're thought through and don't create problems that we aren't anticipating. I don't want to send staff down the road and say, no, we shouldn't have sent you there.
Like we just did in the other one, so. Is that something staff?
But this is something too, we should probably get public input on. It's a
Exactly,
public
that's
hearing.
what I was gonna say.
Not yet. So is that something staff would be
willing to do?
Willing to do, and something that, what kind of time frame would staff need for something to come back with more research and?
Well, Mr. Chairman, like I said, I think the options that you have are listed in your staff report. Item number 1 is to add zoning districts where cargo containers would be allowed. And then item number 2.
But you're saying that would be initiating the text amendments?
Yes.
But before we initiate the text amendment, would you be able to find out more research on how other communities are doing it and bring it back before we start?
Well,
Or
we
do
did
we need to start
we
staff
did
review?
research for City of getting late. City of San Luis, City of Somerton, City of Yuma, Town of Welton, La Paz County responded, Maricopa County responded, Pima County responded, City of Phoenix responded, or we were able to obtain information.
What about the cities that do allow it?
I'm sorry?
The cities, the communities that we're saying that have done it, like Maricopa City and so forth?
Yeah, we'd have to research all of Arizona if that's what you want us to do.
You know, we can look at the
Not going that
projects
far,
that have
Maggie.
been successful. I mean, we don't have to go out and see everybody. Ronnie named 1 or 2. I mean, there've been 3 or 4 communities that's been named. That's all we need. We don't need to go out and scour the world. I just think it would be appropriate to do that bit of research before we go down the road. However, I mean, if you want to adopt all of those except number 5, I will make that motion after we talk to the public and let them talk about it. I just don't think it would be smart to do it at this time.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, we can do additional research. I know there's a development or developments in Tucson as well that have these
I guess I'm in from the
cargo
stakeholders.
container
that-
communities.
Right.
Food village, yeah.
I think that's the route we might be going, but at this time, I'll go ahead and open up to the public if anyone wants to bring in some comments.
Okay.
And is willing to volunteer, so whoever wants to step up first and state your name and address for the record, please. The normal 3 minutes is always, yeah, please.
I'll rush. Mr. Chairman, good afternoon. My name's Aaron Selly. My parcel number is 728-07001. I appreciate the commission for taking this up. I think it's very important for our community. There's a couple things I'll lead with. I did not get a slideshow to you because it was a long day. Anyway, please remember that while we're in this really nice building, really nice area in town, what we want to talk about is the community and the county. Okay, these buildings are a great use for a lot of people, and the county areas are a little bit different than the city. So there are many types of buildings in the foothills, and many standard steel buildings have been approved side by side to residential. So in several neighborhoods, in several areas of the foothills, you've got your mobile home right next to your stick built, right next to your metal building already. This is just a metal building. One of the things I really want to talk about is the types of containers, which I do think can be restricted. Some of staff's arguments are about aesthetics, which is every community's argument or was in the past. There are a lot more commercially available options to side them or to clean them up or to make them look like a normal structure. First and foremost, you have your standard 20-foot container and your standard 40-foot container. I think we can limit them by district. I don't think you can really stick a 40-foot container in a mobile home park. It's just not going to work, right? So we can limit that, and I'm in full support of that. However, I think for aesthetics in standard neighborhoods, we could also limit it to what's called a standard height, which is 8 foot, instead of 9'6", which is a high cube. That would keep it and limit it to just a couple of feet over the fence, which would be at the same height as a standard room level in a house. So I don't think that would be an issue if we limited it to 8 feet for some of the new areas. One of the things the staff talks about extensively in some of their write-up on the first couple paragraphs is safety, and I was like, what safety? Do not close door on thumb? Like, I don't understand how a container is any less safe than like a shed. Second, stacking, I do honestly believe should be limited to the larger areas. To the existing areas that they're listed in or available in now, stacking might be appropriate. I think it is to your standard RA10 or SSB, something of a larger scale. That way, if it fell, it wouldn't, hurt your neighbor's house or the fence or whatever. I think that's reasonable. Some of the other things that were in there and some of the other counties in the state that address some of these issues, they say no advertisements. I think that's reasonable. One of the things I think we should adopt aesthetically is painting them one solid monocolor. And one of the other communities also said it needed to be in concert with the Sonoran Desert color scheme. I think that's also reasonable, expecting people to kind of blend them into the landscape and either paint it a standard desert color or to match their residence or business. Only thing I think they should be able to paint on their words wise is perhaps the name of the business. I leave that up to you. But I think that's reasonable, not to have, container billboards all over the side of the road. I don't think that's what we're trying to get done here. Some of the positives about these are they're very long lasting. Security is a much better issue than your standard shed. They also last extensively long, so they're not going to dilapidate like a lot of the sheds you see that are falling down in the foothills. And I'm trying to go quickly here. Especially with respect to the housing, there are 4 current companies working out of Phoenix that are actually building these. So one of the things that staff wrote in here was that City of Phoenix Section 648 that says it prohibits shipping containers unless specifically authorized by City Council. Section 648 talks to hazardous waste, hazardous material, and...
Fortunately, I think that's...
that's good.
I've never heard of that one. Is that the new ringer for the 3 minutes? Oh, my apologies. Very good information. Thank you. I hope you could relay some of this to staff and continue.
I hope we can work together in the future, Mr. Chairman. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, for your time. Appreciate it.
Anyone else from the public that would like to speak?
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Yuma is a great place to live.
Name and address,
Our
please.
community, I'm Vicki Grant, and I live at 15180 South Sierra Sands Avenue in Yuma.
All right, go ahead.
Okay. Yuma is a great place to live. Our community is full of diversity, living in harmony, and in winter months, we extend our hospitalities to our northern neighbors and friends. Citizens of Yuma put trust in you and your decisions. Our residents live in condos, small lots, high-density housing, some in the city, acreage, farmland. And in the past, you have always looked out for our community needs in your decisions on schools, shopping, and planned communities, and keeping us safe. That's what attracts people here. They want to visit here. Members of the council and many of you and many of our Yuma employees have family trees that go back generations. You live here with your children, your family, and your friends. They have investment. You have investment properties, you own houses, you own business, you own industries. That would be all devastated. This is your home. The loss of revenue in this application is not necessary for these cargo units, would lose $750 each application for special use. It sidetracks every nature of the special use permit. Limitations and our operational conditions are designed to protect. The law states that these are single-family home properties. I don't think these containers should be approved. Sadly, I understand the cargo people are trying to change that so that they can go into HOA neighborhoods and force them to accept their cargo containers and destroy our family areas. These individuals are only concerned around a law that can make them money and are not without any regards to what they're creating. So what about cargo containers? They underestimate the aesthetic character of our neighborhoods. They create safety and sanitation concerns. They detract from property values, apparently. They clash with local home architecture. They disrupt community harmony. They can cause drainage problems and structural hazards to the owner and its neighbors, and they're not addressed. We have seen these containers disaster hurt many other communities. There's a difference between allowing these containers to just be dropped off without special permits or without anything on people's land. Or having a container neighborhood in our community where it's designed for people that they can have water and sanitation and they can live in a nice community of containers or container-like property. It's different. You have to be really careful in your decision not to let people get rid of this special use permit that would just allow people to drop them in their yards.
Thank you. The bell's ringing already. Thank you.
Thank you.
I didn't come with a written thing. So my name is Donna Christensen, and I live at 14400 East 28th Lane in Yuma, out in the county, near Telegraph Pass. I have been for 3 weeks researching these container homes. And if you look at them and take a very good, close look at them, they can be well designed to meet both standards for high winds, for earthquake. They're better than a regular home for earthquake standards. And also they're actually rated for hurricane type winds. So when you're taking a look at these homes and you look at the inside of them, they can be designed to fit a human person to exactly the specific specifications that they need. They have kitchens, they have bathrooms. They're designed to fit the modern type family. And when I take a look at them on the line and I see what their specs are, who is building them and how they're built, they're not built with standard wood in the sense of something that'll blow away. And if you also drove a truck like I did, I drove a 18-wheeler truck and I pulled those containers. I've seen them go through all kinds of situations and they hold up better. I live in a mobile home right now. And I'm redoing the whole inside of that home because they tend to fall apart. And it's nothing against the construction of them. They were designed to fit the normal, everyday person, but they're not designed to last forever. And they don't. So you end up having to make a lot of repairments on them. And from my perspective and the amount of money that I have put out on my home, these homes that I've been looking at for 3 weeks, I have I didn't bring any of the documentation I wanted to, and I should have. I should have made every one of you a pamphlet so you could take a better look at them. They are well equipped for whatever is necessary. As for plumbing, they are well designed for that too. And they fit. Like for instance, I have a lot that can handle both the trailer as well as my home. They plug in just like a regular trailer do. So if you're out in the areas where we're at and take a look at the pictures. That's the one thing I can tell you. There are a lot of builders out there that actually put out their specs. They'll show you the inside of the home. They give you virtual tours. They'll even give you a complete cargo design. And you can make them up to 400 square feet. 400 square feet is not that big for if you're trying to put on a lot. It can be designed to fit what the normal, everyday individual need at a cheaper cost than a regular house being built by stick. So if you're looking at both time consuming, both saving the public that have been looking terrible and stuff like that, it depends on the person you move into that home and how they conduct their own personal lives on a daily basis. So you want to take a look at that as well.
Thank you. The bell's ringing already.
Oh.
Thank you. Appreciate
My
your
first
time
time of doing this. I'm sorry.
You did great. Thank you. Thank you. Anyone else from the public?
Good evening. My name is Terry Grant. I live at 15180 South Sierra Sands Avenue. I agree with all of this, but the discussion doesn't talk about what kind of cargo containers we're talking about. If it's the one that comes off of an 18-wheeler that's carried cargo from overseas to here, that doesn't work for human occupancy. If you want to specify how you want to use cargo containers, that's what we need to see. They need to be manufactured in a way that provides sanitation, water, electricity, that sort of thing for human occupancy. That's what we need to understand. If you're just talking about a plain old container that you want to put on a piece of property, it doesn't matter where the property is, if you want to use it for human occupation, then it's got to be prepared for that, or you're going to have health and welfare issues, which seems pretty obvious. But the idea and the intent is explain the use and how that's going to be regulated. Right now, there's no regulation. And that's not what we want to see. We want to see the regulation. We want to see how it's going to be impacted across the community. If there's no regulation, there's a host of issues that we need to discuss. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And to staff, and that's the clarification, we're asking for staff to come back with more research. And yes, it wouldn't, my understanding, removal of the special use permit is not for someone just to put a container saying we live in it. It has to go through the building process, the zone. That is what we're discussing. Get rid of the special use and put some more regulation to how someone could occupy it. And that's what we're asking staff to go to communities that have allowed these to see what their regulations are. Agreed. They can't just get a container and just take it off of a rig 18-wheeler and put it on their living room. That correct. So that's why we want to just clarify for the public. That's what we're asking to do, to be able to do this in the safety for the population, affordable, and accessory uses and as units. So, all right. Anyone else from the public? Hearing none. So, is this a motion or just direction?
Mr. Chairman, I want you to know I agree with every speaker. Every speaker that spoke said things that I agree with. And that's why I don't think we should rush too quickly into trying to send staff down roads until we're ready to travel them.
Right.
But staff, Maggie's very capable of reading what we're asking her to do, see if she can start the conversation, get stakeholders involved, some community folks involved, and maybe, should we say ever?
And I hate to add to this, staff does a great job with their research, and once it goes through the county, we're going to see the smaller communities, the cities following in the county's footsteps, because this is a subject across. So maybe working in conjunction.
Well,
with,
I wouldn't rather have no one else leading that than Maggie.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
There we go.
Mr. Chairman, keep in mind that while we did not address possible conflicts with CCNRs for subdivisions,
Right.
that may be an issue that comes up during our research.
But we have that with every zoning thing we do, that we don't consider CCNRs, but the homeowners have to. The county zoning ordinances are not built around CCNRs. CCNRs are built to be more restrictive than our county zoning ordinances. So those should not play a part in what we do. We should adopt zoning ordinances, and then those folks who want to have CCNRs should adopt those and support them. But we can't be arbitrators of that as the county.
Mr. Chairman, just one other thought from me. One of the things I think we ought to do is make a big issue out of this. Affordability in housing is a major, major deal. If we can go in there and put 50 cargo containers in and
let's use the word cargo conversions.
Conversions, yeah, they'd be converted.
Because I think that's where the public gets confused and
container homes.
Container homes.
That's why you have to go through your building code too.
Right,
I mean,
yeah.
you've got to go through your.
But we got to
building
make sure when we speak and bring this up,
code.
people understand that.
Yeah, it gets misleading, but
Big deal.
It's a big deal.
it's a big deal. It is, and I think we ought to engage more people for this.
I've actually witnessed some in California that have been converted, and you walk in there and they look, you wouldn't know it was a container originally until, they have the siding inside, they put drywall, electrical, they run the plumbing, and it's affordable. I don't know why, but you're saving versus building 2x4 studs and concrete pads, it's affordable. So, okay, so do we just provide, this is just direction to staff to come back to us at it?
Mr. Chairman, at this time, the motion would be to continue this for
The motion, okay.
90 days?
90 days.
I was asking staff, remember, you got the holidays, you got Halloween, you got November, you got December.
Thanksgiving, Christmas, Election Day.
Halloween is fun, it's a holiday.
Must be a big.
Hey, continue the item to January.
January, I think that makes more sense.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
And I second that.
Motion, a second to continue this item to January 2025, to come back with more research and be able to, Mr. Bryant?
Oh, Mr. Bryant, I second.
The loud guy.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any against? All right, motion carries. Thank you, staff, and thank you to the public for staying and providing your
Yes.
impact, your feedback. And feel free to get with staff in regards to your ideas. Item number 15, request to initiate an amendment to the Yuma County Bikeway Master Plan to update the map. Oh, we got more updates on that one?
Mr. Chairman, this is the last one. This is the request to initiate, Javier Barraza, Senior Planner, presented this request to initiate a text amendment to the Yuma County Bikeways Master Plan to update the bikeways map. The Yuma County Board of Supervisors adopted the Yuma County Bikeways Master Plan on February 7, 2022 as a dynamic document. This map must be updated periodically to reflect changes in the bicycle routes across the Yuma County and its municipalities. Recently, the City of Yuma, Somerton, and City of San Luis updated their bicycle routes. These changes were analyzed and need to be integrated into the map. Additionally, an existing bicycle route was inaccurately represented on the Yuma County Bikeways Master Plan map. This is the map updated with all the information provided. And staff recommends to initiate an amendment to to update the Yuma County Bikeways Master Plan map. That concludes staff's presentation.
Any questions to staff from commissioners? Is that in the red line that was in there? More bikeway connections, all right, thank you. Open it to the public. Anyone from the public would like to comment on the updates to the bike path? Hearing none, bring it back to the commission for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move we accept staff's recommendation and initiate an amendment to update the Yuma County Bike path, map path.
We have a motion, we have a second. Any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Second was Ron Rice.
Any against? All right. Next item, any events or nothing from the commissioners to report? Anyone go anywhere? Plan to go anywhere? No?
I can tell you about my vacations.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay. Hearing none, thank you, staff. Thank you, everybody. Motion, adjourned. We adjourned.
Is this recyclable?